Hey guys, it's Jordan here from Coinbureau Trading. Just a quick update on the crypto market. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and let's get into it. I really hope that everybody has been watching each video as I drop it, and please do set the bell notifications to on if you haven't yet already for the Coinbureau Trading channel, because every video that we drop here is important to take note of. We can see that the last signal I gave here a few days ago on the channel was extremely important and actually ended up playing out in a nice trade. Right here, a few days ago on the channel, I did discuss this red dot that had printed and what to look out for next before you take the trade. It is a good time to take profits as we are now seeing a red dot printing. We are seeing VWAP crossing and money flow is threatening to turn to the downside. We must now wait for money flow to be pointing down before we are sure of the short. All right, so there you go. I clearly gave the signal on this 4-hour time frame to wait for money flow to be pointing down before taking the short trade. I want to be very specific here in showing everybody how this played out, because it is very important. I want everybody to make sure that you have watched the Market Cipher tutorials that I have dropped on this channel, the introduction, the bullish and bearish divergences tutorial, as well as the trigger waves tutorial, because these are 3 of the most important trading strategy videos that you can ever watch. In that last video, we were speaking about this red trigger wave dot that printed. We were talking about the fact that the VWAP had crossed to the downside, and that is 2 levels of confluence for the trigger wave strategy. I then urged everybody not to take the short, but to wait for money flow to start pointing down. If we pull this up nice and big, we can see exactly where the moment was that money flow took a dip, and here you can see the downwards angle on the money flow, which was so important, and that was the time to pull the trigger on that trigger wave short. We can also see here that this trade went on to give us even more confluence by actually printing the bearish divergence on this 4-hour time frame on Market Cipher, all the way from here to here. We can clearly extrapolate this onto the charts as price making a high here, price making a higher high over there, and then wave trend indeed making a lower low here, which is a typical bearish divergence, and exactly what I have explained in my divergence Market Cipher tutorial that I dropped on this channel recently. Now we had a few nice levels of confluence for this trade because we had the trigger wave, we had the VWAP crossing down, we also then had at this point right here money flow starting to turn down, and then we also got the printing of the bearish divergence. This is already 4 nice levels of confluence, and everybody here should know by now that I look for at least 5 levels of confluence for a trade, and the 5th level of confluence for me here was also, as most of you know, one of my absolute favorite tools, the fixed range volume profile on this range. Extremely simple to draw in, but really giving us the final cherry on top of the info that we really need, and that is the fact that we were making the move from the value area high of the range back down towards the POC, and then even a move back down towards the value area low. Very important for everybody to take note of is our new campaign with WEEX. And really, it is very easy. WEEX is making it super easy for us. For the first $50 futures trading bonus, all you have to do is deposit $100 and trade a $10,000 volume. A $10,000 volume might seem like a lot, but actually it's really easy to achieve by using leverage. You can then also see that you can earn another $80 trading bonus simply by depositing $500 and reaching a $20,000 volume. This also then goes up for those traders who have access to higher margin to deposit $1,000, reach $100,000 in volume, and receive a $100 trading bonus. If you are a futures trader hitting higher volumes, you can see here that if you hit a $10 million volume, you can claim a $1,000 USDT bonus, right up to a $12 $100,000 in total if you manage to climb the ranks of all of these volume levels. You can see that this fixed range volume profile takes 2 seconds to draw in. It really is not complicated, but it is so important, and it gives us so much valuable info and insights. If you need a full tutorial on the fixed range volume profile, head to my personal trading channel. You will see right at the top, it's my featured video, and I do believe that it is giving a whole lot of beautiful information if you're not aware of how to use this tool as of yet. Now we can see on the fixed range volume profile that we came down to test the POC. We then lost the POC towards the value area low, but we actually front ran that value area low level, which in my opinion does mean that we are likely to get an actual liquidity sweep to that level. Usually a front running of a very important level does statistically mean that we are likely to go down to that level to actually fill that liquidity. We can see then that price came from these 2 wicks back up to test POC, but didn't lose POC again to the value area high, but rather now has been rejected away from POC and looks like it could be heading back down towards that value area low. The 4-hour time frame, in my opinion, is a great time frame to be zooming in on now, as it does look like Bitcoin is stuck within this range. Of course, if you missed this beautiful bearish divergence trade from the value area high that we were looking at a few days ago, you do not FOMO in, and you simply need to wait for the next good opportunity. On Market Cipher, we can clearly see the confusion that came in at this level. We saw a green dot giving us a trigger wave right down at the bottom below our 45-degree line, which is the first level of confluence for the trigger wave strategy. We also saw the VWAP crossing, but we did not see money flow giving us anything convincing to take that trade. We also then saw a red dot print, quickly followed by a green dot, quickly followed by a red dot, then followed by the green dot, and this last green dot was above the 45 level, making it not as powerful and not a trade that I would personally want to enter. When we see these confusing signals on the charts, we simply sit back and wait for clearer signals of direction. We can then see that price and momentum went back up, and we got a red dot, but it was not close to or above the 45-degree line, which is essential for our trigger wave strategy. So right now we can see that there is a squeezing in price. There is confusion on the Market Cipher, and it is a time to just be patient and wait. We can also see even more clearly if we head to the daily time frame just how much price is squeezing between the bulls and the bears. Money flow does look like it wants to turn around and come back up, but there is no clear sign of confirmation on this yet, and we are seeing wave trend squeezing very close to the zero line. Usually this does mean that there will be an explosive move incoming at some point soon. What we can also see here very clearly that's confirming the idea of a squeeze is if we go back to the 4-hour time frame and we look at our price action, those price action candle readers will of course be noticing the symmetrical triangle on this 4-hour time frame. It's very simple to draw in. I know this does take some practice, but if you do need to understand how to draw in and notice symmetrical triangles as well as trade them, there is a full tutorial on my personal trading channel. There's no exact correct way of how to draw the symmetrical triangle and where to put these trend lines, but in my opinion, the levels of most touch points are sitting right here. We can see clear significance at the top resistance retested, as well as faked out and back in and faked out again. We can also see very clear significance at the bottom of the symmetrical triangle. According to where I've placed my upper downward sloping trend line, we are actually outside of this resistance, and it is a matter now of taking note of whether we come back into the squeeze and have an extremely explosive breakout to either direction, or whether we come and put a very nice retest in with volume as the flip of this resistance into support. We can see the indecision right here of whether price is actually flipping that resistance into support, And this is a textbook fake out, as we can see a move straight back into the symmetrical triangle and straight back down to the upward sloping support trend line. We then see a move back out of the triangle, but no real retest yet with volume, which is the next thing I would look out for. And then make sure, if you want to take the trade, you have your confluence with your Market Cipher giving you either a very nice trigger wave below the 45-degree level, or of course a nice wave trend bullish divergence, which would mean lower price here with a downward sloping angle, as well as an upward sloping angle on your momentum. It does very often happen on the charts that the best thing to do is absolutely nothing and wait. This is the sniper mindset, and it really teaches you to think in advance, think ahead, plan the trade the plan, and to not just be spontaneous and over trade.